Hello everyone, my name is Joe Branco and I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My dad was in the Navy, so I spent most of the rest of my life moving across this great country and seeing all there is to offer. I've visited all 50 states and I've even lived in 12 of them. But I've decided to move my family from Silicon Valley, California back to my favorite state, the state of Minnesota. And in that readjustment, I've learned some great tips to share with you. So let's get started. How to be a Minnesotan. Language. One of the first steps to becoming a true Minnesotan is mastering the language. A good place to start is by learning how to say all the different Minnesota city names, like Wayzata, Vadnai Heights, Shakopee, Metomedi, Faribault, New Prague, Lutzen, Edina, Waseca, Isanti. You'll also need to master your new set of responses to all situations. If you 100% agree with something someone just said, or someone has said thank you, it's customary to reply, you betcha. If someone breaks expectations, whether it was harder than you thought it would be, bigger than you thought it would be, worse than you thought it would be, you reply, ufta. If you see something absolutely adorable, you say, oh for cute. And if something is just ridiculously wrong or very unlucky, you can say, oh for Pete's sake. You'll need to appear to look on the bright side as often as possible. So whenever you are stuck in a tough situation around someone else, you should say, it could be worse. You'll also need to cheer on the best football team with the worst luck in the world. And you do that by saying, Skol! Minnesota nice! Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Well, it isn't exactly. This is expert level passive aggressive. To master this, you will need to be 100% conflict adverse no matter what. For example, if you are at a restaurant and your server is rude, your order comes out wrong, and the food tastes terrible, you must handle it in the following way. You explain away the terrible service by stating, well, she must have had a tough day with rude customers earlier. You apologize for your part in the order coming out wrong, saying something like, don't worry about it, sorry about that, I must have mumbled or misspoke. Third, you reassure everyone at the table and your server that the food is not that bad. Bonus Minnesota points for then still recommending that restaurant to your family and friends. Just about everyone annoys you, but you will always smile and be agreeable throughout all conversations. Then hold your tongue until you're around others to share your real thoughts. You'll likely never have a real argument with the Minnesotan, at least not to their face. And for those who are coming here from the East or West Coast, you'll need to start training yourself now to stop using profanity in public. When you swear in Minnesota, every head will turn and stare at you like you just slapped a baby. Luckily, they won't actually say anything to you, but it's definitely not acceptable blurted out here. It should be preserved for one-on-one conversations only. Food! Minnesota certainly has its own set of culinary standards. For starters, you'll find TOTS on every menu, which is great because TOTS are delicious. You may be accustomed to certain side options like fries, coleslaw, or salad, but in Minnesota, your options are fries, cheese curds, and TOTS. Hot dish is the statewide get-together food staple here. You might know it by its non-Minnesota name, casserole. Bonus points for making tater tot hot dish. At any event you go to from now on, you have a new option, mini donuts. Forget about peanuts or popcorn. At every movie theater, sports event, fair, arcade, even kids' lemonade stands, there's a high % chance that they'll have mini donuts available. Another social gathering favorite is bars. It's sort of a cross between brownies and candy bars, but they are more durable than a cupcake and pair perfectly with tater tot hot dish. So probably the biggest difference in food terminology that you'll see is that nobody uses the word soda. It's pop here in Minnesota. Speaking of pop, do you like Mountain Dew? Well, that's too bad, because in Minnesota they have Mellow Yellow. Yes, they still make that. Walleye. This is a fish that you will really rarely ever see outside of Minnesota, but it's actually pretty awesome and tastes great in most preparations. Lutefisk. If you are excited about walleye, you will hate this probably because it's the worst thing you will ever taste. But as a Minnesotan now, your Minnesota Nice will never allow you to say that. Remember, it's not that bad. But lutefisk is required in our training to become a Minnesotan. It's best to start off your day with it and allow the taste to linger throughout your day. Grain Belt beer, Surly beer, and other beer. Minnesotans love local, so you'll learn to enjoy these. But not to worry, Minnesotans actually take pride in their beer, so this will definitely be your easiest adjustment. Minnesota has some great traditions that you'll have to start taking part of. Meat raffle. Meat raffles bring together 4 of Minnesota's favorite things: bars, meat, gambling, and charitable giving. Minnesotans are well known for going out of their way to help everyone, so why not give to a worthy and noble cause for a chance to win amazing freshly hunted meat? It's a win-win no matter how you slice it. State Fair. Minnesota has the hands-down best state fair in the United States. It holds the record for most daily attendees and second highest each year for total attendance. But it has incredible food, a temperature your body can actually handle without going into heat stroke, and you will find every single fried food you can imagine, from fried Snickers, fried pizzas, fried Twinkies, etc. And you have all day to eat up an entire bucket of Martha's cookies. Corn dogs were also invented and introduced to the Minnesota State Fair. You're welcome. Duck, 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 Gray Duck. If you are new to Minnesota, you may know this children's game as Duck, Duck, Goose, but don't bother trying to convince a Minnesotan that the correct name for the game is Duck, Duck, Goose. They've heard 100 people insist on that, but Minnesotans know Duck, Duck, Gray Duck is better, so your resistance is futile. Just a couple notes on weather. Shorts weather starts at 45 degrees, usually in mid-March. Then we hit another couple blizzards, then it's summer. Be prepared to trick or treat in a blizzard as well. Hockey! High school hockey is bigger in Minnesota than the NHL, NBA, and NFL combined. Minnesota produces more professional hockey players than any other state in the US. And is it any wonder? In early March, you go to any bar, restaurant, senior living center, medical facility, anywhere. Absolutely every TV will be broadcasting the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Even if the Wild are playing and they have a 20-game win streak going on, that TV channel is not moving from the high school hockey tournament. Local is everything, and these are our heroes. Every winter morning and night, Minnesota kids are out playing at the park, on their ponds, or on their lakes. This is the state of hockey, and we take it very seriously. You better know the name of every North Star and every Wild player that ever lived. Likewise, any professional or Division I college player that grew up in Minnesota better be on your radar. Since hockey is the best sport on the planet, you really lucked out in choosing to be a Minnesotan. Fargo. Do not joke about the movie Fargo to Minnesotans. They don't think it's funny. Oh, and Fargo isn't in Minnesota, it's a city in North Dakota. It's just best not to bring it up, ever. Well, I seem to have covered a lot to get you on your way to becoming a Minnesotan. Geez, what else can I talk about? It's a little chillier outside today than I was expecting. Long goodbye. Your final lesson to becoming a well-adjusted and passable Minnesotan is to learn the long goodbye. If you need to be on the road by 2 p.m., you had better start saying goodbye at around 1:30. It's rude to say, we gotta go, and bolt out the door. You must have a final cup of coffee after you first announce that you're ready to take off. You'll need to turn down additional food politely about 3 more times, talk about your kids' sporting events coming up in the next few days, help put leftovers into a Tupperware to take with you, and finally chat about the weather. You should get in your car, have one final chat as you back your car out, and you wave from the moment you put your car into drive until you can no longer see the house any longer. Good job. Thank you so much for stopping by to learn these tips on becoming a Minnesotan. You've made a great choice. Minnesota is the best place to grow up, and you'll be surrounded by the most helpful and kind-hearted people in the world. We'll see you soon, you betcha.